Hi there, welcome to Happy Hour Beginner Sketching Tutorial Lesson 4, and I'm teacher Annie. Today's installment is part of a beginner sketch tutorial which I'll be setting out, and in today's lesson we'll be exploring lesson 4. Now usually I would teach shading prior to this lesson, but for the purposes of a video I'm going to skip that part and we're going to move straight on to form. So last week we drew an apple, and this week we're going to be drawing different kinds of three-dimensional shapes. So I'll be starting with a few. Before we start that, get your environment set out. Have your eraser, have your sketch pencils, F pencil, 2B, 3B, and 4B. Okay, let me just grab my 2B. I don't seem to have it here in my collection. As always, make sure that when you start sketching that everything is kind of ready and set out. So don't do what I'm doing here. I thought I had my 2B pencil. Seems to be missing. That's a 2H. Okay, anyway, let's use an F pencil. Okay, for sketching. So I'm going to be doing different shapes, and I'm going to be showing you how to do that. So in the first one, we're going to be doing, the reason why we do this lesson is to understand the basic forms. It's very important for the foundation of your drawing. So the first shape that I'm going to be focusing on is a cylinder. You can of course have shapes. So when you start, usually I would have an object in front of me and this shouldn't look at it. In this case, it's going to be different. And you would do a dot, and you would use your finger to measure like that. And very lightly, go like that. Again, the importance of drawing a line. Now somewhere in the middle, so you want to use your measurement, you can use your thumb, the top part here, go up to here. Okay, and kind of do that. Now from the start it looks like a rectangle, but it's not. So this is a very basic shape. So now there are two ways to do it, and I usually do it one way. So the top part, you want to kind of get that down, very light. So for the cylinder, you want to kind of do a flat oval shape. Like that. Okay. Watch out for your ellipses here. Okay, and then because you have a narrow one here, you would normally have a wider circle at the bottom. Okay. Now I'm going to show you on this side. You can do the opposite. The opposite, of course, is if you do this. Okay. And you have, okay, oh, finding a hard time to draw here. And you do this. If you have a wider one here, when you go down, okay, you will have a narrow one there. Do you see the difference? So wider one here, narrow there, narrow here, wider here. We're going to stick to this one, so I'm just going to erase this. Okay. So let's get started. Okay. Right. Now, so I'm going to start with the cylinder shape because it's the easiest shape to do. Okay, I'm going to go down here, here. Now you can of course use an actual glass for referencing. That's a very good idea to do that. Now let's go darker around here. These are your construction lines. Always keep them light. A lot of times my beginner students, there's a tendency they'll draw dark like that. Don't do that. What I mean by light is, when I say draw lightly, just gently touch the paper. Don't force your piece of lead into it. So here we go. Basic shape. Your pencils. Again, make sure that you're sitting comfortable. Again, using your wrist and your shoulder. You can't see that when I'm doing that. Okay, and when you're ready, Okay, draw this shape, a cylindrical shape or cylinder. Okay, this is useful for drawing round objects, you know. Okay. Watch out that it doesn't look too square here. That's quite a common mistake that a lot of people make when they're doing that. Okay. And once you're done, you can erase the inside. Just keep some of it. So that's a cylinder shape. Okay, no rulers, just hand. So that's the first one we're going to do. The next one, okay, you can do it on the same page, but because my book is very small, I'm going to do it on a new page. Okay, the next one is a cube. When you think of a cube, think of a rubric cube, or think of dice or a box. You can use a box for a reference. So I'm going to start off with this side. Okay, again, you want to measure it. If you have an actual object in front of you, you want to kind of do that. There, go down like that. Then again there. Make sure that it's straight. Right now, this just looks like a square. Okay. So what you want to do is you want to make it look three-dimensional. Now there are two ways you can do this. You can either go this way or that way. I'm going to go this way. So again, the top will be foreshortened like that. You want to kind of do that like that. Very basic shape. So there we go. You can of course do it the other way. The other way would be doing it this way. You start off with your square or your cube shape. Okay. Again, you can measure and it would go this way. Okay. Make sure that these lines are parallel and those lines are parallel. This one goes like that. Just two ways to do it. Okay. Now, I'm going to go with this way. There we go. That's a cube. So that's one of the shapes that you're going to be learning about. How to draw a cube. So start off with a square. Okay, like that. Personally, I think actually I like that one. So I might change to that one. Not sure yet. So we have a cylinder, we have a cube. Okay. And the next one is a pyramid shape. Okay. So you can start again with your dot. Draw your line there. Pyramid shape is very different. Okay. Very angular. Okay, now a pyramid shape would be different in the sense that okay, this line goes up to there and there. Okay. Again, the importance of straight lines. Actually, let me draw this bigger. I think it's too small for you guys. So that's a pyramid shape. You can, of course, do all of these shapes on one page if you have a bigger sketchbook. So again with a dot. Very basic shape. Go like that. And then like this. Kind of go up like that. You want to make this a little bit more pointy. Sorry. So you want to make that sharp. Okay, now, so that's a pyramid shape. Or actually, it should go more down. Should be more down. There we go. Like that. Okay. There we go, pyramid. Now the next shape, not to be confused with the pyramid, careful, it's a cone. Think of ice cream cone or a gnome hat. Okay, so this one, you start the same way as a pyramid. However, you're going to measure down the middle. So you take your thumb. If you actually had a cone shape, you could do it that way. And you start with an upside down T. So you can draw a dot there, like that. Now it looks like a triangle, but in fact, it is very different. You're going to go with the bottom part of a cylindrical shape. So you're going to kind of do that, and you're going to kind of go like that. There we go, party hat, birthday hat, ice cream cone. Okay, so now this one, again, very light, takes a lot of practice. This is why we had to practice drawing circles and straight lines in the first lesson. The same with the cylinder drawing. I'm going to show you two ways. So you start again. Okay, you can start here with your T. Okay, one here, and then go down the middle. Okay, there we go. But here, go down like that. So very rough. This is not even neat. Again, the bottom, if you make it wider, okay, that part here will stick out more, come to the front like a belly. Okay, well, I realize you can't see that. There we go. Okay, so it's different, but I'm going to stick to this one. Okay, so you have your cone, and you have your pyramid, you have a cube, and your cylinder. And of course, the next shape, very easy, looks two-dimensional, but it will change in the shading part. So when you draw a circle, let's say you have a ball in front of you. You want to take the middle top part, measure it with your thumb, your finger like that. Again, you can move this down. So you start off with a cross. It's not a cross. And you can start here. Now we're going to make this one look three-dimensional. Okay, so you're going to start off with a ball or a sphere. Okay, see if I can reach those points. So that's a sphere. Okay, now let's start with the first shape. Let's go back to this one. Okay, so now you want to kind of get it the correct way. Okay. If your line isn't straight, just make sure that it is straight. Okay. And be careful of ellipses or your corners. They have to look kind of more round. That takes practice. Okay, somehow I feel this one isn't straight. So getting your corners, these corners, right, kind of very important. You don't want to kind of have something tipping over. So otherwise, okay. So once you feel confident enough, you can start to do shading. So we're going to erase the outside, inside here. Okay. Now we're going to do shading. So shading refers to where it's dark and light. So I'm having light coming in from this side, and it's dark this side. So when it's dark this side, I want to show that it's light this side. Or in this case, I'm going to change it. Let's have light coming in from the right-hand side and dark from this side. So now this part here is flat. So you really want to do the shading differently. And so many of you when I see shading, you do coloring in. It's not coloring in. We can, but blending. So I'm going to take a 3B. You can take a 3B or a 4B. I'm going to start with a 3B. And I'm going to go in one direction, like that. Okay. This is very quick. You're welcome to slow down the video. Okay. And as you go with the shading part, much lighter. I barely touch my paper. So this is tonal variation. When I refer to tonal variation, it means the darkness and lightness of something. In this case, how dark something is into light. So it can also refer to one color that goes from dark to light. In this case, dark, medium, light. Now, okay, let's do this. So what you want to do here is, okay, so now you want to give this form, remember this form to be round. How do you do that? You follow the shape. I would keep to short lines. So you can start off with like a mid-tone first. Short lines that don't touch. Again, don't do it like that because you want to show the object is three-dimensional. So I'm going very light because I want to kind of get my shapes correct. And it's easier to erase. So once you feel confident, okay, you can do shading. One other thing I forgot, you can always put a piece of paper under your hand here so that it doesn't get smudgy. Okay, so I'm going to start. You may fast forward the video here. Okay, so it doesn't look perfect. And because, again, let's say the light's coming in from this side, you also want to draw the shadow. So the shadow is kind of different. Different direction. I think I just realized my pencil is not sharp enough. So direction going down like that. Slightly slanted. Okay, so I'm realizing it's supposed to go down this way. So it looks a bit like colouring in, the very thing that I don't actually want. Okay, there you go. That's the basics. You actually want to keep this line behind it. Not in front, sorry. Okay. Keep it nice and clean, erase that. So even I make mistakes sometimes, still to this day. Okay, and that's your cylinder. So at the bottom here you can write cylinder for references. Okay, cylinder. Okay, the next shape, cube. I'm going to switch to a different pencil because I realized this one is not sharp. So I'm going to switch to my cube. So now, let's draw this side. Let's get the details in. And again, you will realize, make sure that the shape is actually in the corner. Okay. Okay, now the light would be coming from that side. So the way this works is this side's going to be dark. So if the side had to be dark, I'm going to make this side. So I'm going to follow the direction of this. Hang on a second. Yeah. Okay. So the top part would be like medium. I'm not going to do too much because it gets a little bit of light on top. Not much. Hang on. Okay, I think I'm not happy with this one, so I'm just gonna start over with this one again. Now, don't be scared if something happens like that, if you want to start over again, by all means. But if you have a shape that you actually have, then don't do it that way. So I'm going to start again. I think I'm going to draw it this way. Let's do the basic shape. That quick. I know. Okay, but you can slow it down. So let's do it this way. If you have a shape that way, then you obviously have to shade it. But for video purposes and shading, I'm going to show it this way. Okay. Now, I'm going to talk about the direction of the light. Let's say the light's coming in from this side. So it's going to be light here and dark here. So the arrows are to show you where the light's coming in. So on top, it would be kind of just a gray tone, a middle tone, not dark, not light. I'm using a one-directional shading technique. You go across the whole one. Here, this is where it's going to be very dark because it gets the least amount of light. So, sorry about that, guys. You could have done it the other way. But, yeah, okay. So this side, if you notice, my pencil strokes kind of different. Okay. I'm not coloring in, I'm picking up my pencil. I'm doing short line strokes, controlled strokes. I'm keeping it one shade. Very simple. You can go back into those areas. You can go this way. As long as you keep your line parallel with this line and that line. I prefer to draw with actual objects in front of me. So if you have a box or cube with a lamp or torch or flashlight, do that. Okay, so this has the light part. So this is where it's going to be different because the light's going to hit kind of here. So this is going to go from like a medium to a light. Almost barely. And as you go towards the light, mind you, it looks like the light shining in front. There. That's what it looks like. So you want to clean this part up a bit. You want to blend it a bit. Don't go too dark. This side you can almost go very dark. Okay. Now to make it like look three-dimensional, you're going to draw the horizon line at the back here, behind it. Okay. So again, rule of the thirds. When I refer to rule of the thirds, it's a kind of like the grid. You will see that in a traditional camera lens. We have 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to kind of go here and then do that. Now for shading, okay, you can kind of do, this part is very dark. So go like that. Because there's no light coming in, think of it behind, or towards the side of the box. So it kind of goes like this. This is a very quick sketch that I'm doing. Okay, there we go. And again here, you kind of want to go a little bit. Shading for this one is very easy. Don't do too much here at the bottom. I'm going to give it a little bit, not too much. But you really want to focus on this part here behind. Okay. All right, so that's your cube. You want to write down cube. Okay. Next up, pyramid. Okay, so the pyramid, same thing. We're going to have the light this time in a different direction. I'm going to throw it coming in from the right. So when I draw an arrow, that means the light's coming in like that. But think of a lamp going here. So let's go through this part. I'm still using a 4B. You can use a 3B. Okay, there we go. So this part here is going to be very light here, and this part. Okay. Now the shading for a pyramid and a cylinder will be very different. Okay. All right. My hand is jumping here. So there we go. Okay. Not straight. There we go. Okay, and this one. Oh, there. I've actually made it thinner now. Okay, so basically, you don't see this side unless you decide to draw that side. Okay, so this side's going to be completely light. Again, because it doesn't get any light. Hang on, sorry. The light's coming in from this side. Sorry. Light's coming in from this side. So, okay, what you want to do is you want to follow. Oh, hang on. No. Change the direction. Light's coming in from this side. If the light was coming in from that side, then this part here would be dark to light, and this part would be like a gray color going up. Let's see, maybe I should do it that way. Yep, let's do it the way. Okay, so now for this part, completely light. So there are two ways to do this part. You can either do it like that or going down. So this part's light. I want to go from a medium to a dark. So this is completely white. Don't touch it. If you actually had a pyramid shape, you would see that. So we're going from like a medium tone or a mid-tone to this one. Notice how I'm keeping my hand straight and short. I'm just going to do one tone first before I decide to go darker. So go across your page. You can either go top to bottom or from the bottom to the top. In this case, I'm going to use this side. Okay. Okay, I realize if I move my hand, you can't really see. So let's go this side. Now the light's coming in from this side, so bit of a challenge for a right-handed person, but okay. Good to have practice. Now you will notice I'm kind of gradually building it up. It's always a good idea to sort of start light and then go dark once you're sure. It's very difficult to erase something that's already almost completely very dark or completely black. So not so easy on your eraser. Okay. Notice I'm not going to do a lot on this side because it would be normally dark on this side. And yeah, okay. So now, here would be a dark side. Now, because I drew the pyramid piece like that, I'm going to have to draw my horizon line just above that. And this is the part where it gets kind of dark. Okay. Yeah, I realize there's a mistake here. So I should be drawing this line down. Ah! I'm not having a good day today, am I? Okay, so yeah, again, see, this is what I mentioned about drawing light. So mistakes can happen to anybody. Don't feel bad if you get a mistake. You have an eraser. Before that, you had to probably waste a lot of paper. So I'm going to move this one down because I realized when I'm doing the shading, that's not going to work. Okay. Sorry, guys. Anyway, so now I'm just going to move this here to the... When you have an actual object with you, you can't really do that. If your eraser gets like this, always a good idea to kind of clean it on your table first, so you can clean up any smudge areas. Okay. Any smudgy areas, keep your paper clean. Okay, so now, since I know the light's going into this space here, okay. I was thinking of the pyramid that I had in my studio, which is kind of much wider. I think that's what led to this. Okay, now for the shading bit, same thing. You kind of want to do that. Go underneath here. Keep this here. Straight lines, very different. Darker. Short lines. Okay. So I'm keeping this in the video just to show you that people can make mistakes all the time. It's how you handle it that makes the difference. And the perception or the persist of not quitting. Just keep trying. Okay. So again, this looks like coloring in to me, sorry. Pick up your pencil when you do your strokes. There we go. That looks much better for aesthetic values. Of course, if you have a real shape in front of you, it's going to be very different. More fun, more challenge. Okay, and there you go. And underneath here, I want to kind of do that. So shading gives it a three-dimensional look. You kind of want to do a little bit of shading. Just a tiny bit. Okay. So keep that clean. That's your pyramid. Hope I'm right this time. So, okay. If you feel the need to sharpen your pencil, always keep your pencil sharp. Okay, there we go. Okay, so we'll clean it up later. Okay, that's the pyramid. The light was going this way would be different. This would be dark, that'll be dark to light, and this would be shaded here, opposite. So pyramid. Okay, done. Okay, next shape, cone. Now, not exactly the same as the pyramid, very different. So with this one, I'm going to use my F pencil first. The top part of this is actually more round. It could be round or pointy. So be careful when you kind of draw that. Make sure again that your ellipses match. That refers to, like, think of it shoulders, and this is your neck. You don't want it to do that. You want it to go straight. Okay. If you're wanting to get a cone shape, if you go to a craft shop or one of those like sewing shops, they'll sometimes stock polystyrene cone shapes. And you can buy those. Those are cheaper than buying the actual forms in wood. Okay, so there you go. Kind of do that. Okay. Again, watch out for your ellipses here. So once you're confident, or you're absolutely sure, you can keep the inside, but I'm not going to do that. Okay, and you want to clean it up here. So there we go. Make sure that your hand is straight. Go this side, like that, and like that. Okay. This time I'm going to draw my background. Jump over there. Okay. Now the light would slightly fall different on this because it's a more round shape. So your pyramid is kind of triangular, angled. So the way that you would do shading for this, and this is completely different. A lot of my students get confused with that, and I have to kind of point it out. It helps if you use an actual object. So in this case, if you have an actual object, it really works much better. So here, so let's say the light is coming from, let's make it the right side. So here's going to be light, there's going to be gray. Now you want to start in the middle with this one. You want to give it kind of a round shape. Okay. Slightly different. Okay. Or curved shape, sorry. Okay. And this side's going to be dark. So almost the same as your cylinder, but not quite. Not going to be dark, it's going to be like a grey colour, sorry. The light, the way that the light's going to fall on this is quite different. Maybe I should do a video on that to show you. Okay, this is just drawing practice. So you kind of want to keep I'm not going too dark with this, if you notice very carefully. Just kind of doing this shape. Don't go too dark. Okay, and the top's going to be very different. Again, you notice how I'm doing this to give it a more round shape. Okay, sorry, the light's not very good here. Give it a more round shape. More cylindrical shape. You kind of want to do that. The top part again is not pointy, by the way. It's kind of a round. Think of ice cream cone. Okay. The way that the light falls on this is entirely different. Okay, now this is going to go from like medium to dark in the middle. I know, weird, huh? So you're going to start with medium, because the light's coming from the side, so that's why. You can draw it up and down like that, vertical. Either way, there's different ways you can do this. So again, here you'll notice it's a bit different. Okay. And I'm going super light to the side. Okay. And here, again, the light's coming from this side. So now I want to work on the bottom here. When that happens, you're going to do this. Okay, so here, wow, this video is quite long. Okay, so this side, again, light's coming in from this side, so the shading can be slightly slanted. Start off with the medium. To a very light. And you kind of want to move to here, like that. So here I don't want to go too dark because my light's coming in from that side. Okay, to get the, you want to blend. So what I do, when I mean blend, I mean this. You kind of want to do this like that, so it doesn't look too, you know. Okay, there we go. Make sure it doesn't look like hair. And you can of course go back into here. Kind of do that. And go in here. I'm using a 4B. Okay, actually I should have switched to my 3B 4B. You can do that. And there you have it. Okay, again, very different to your pyramid. It's more round. Another way you can do it is, of course, if you go up and down. So this is your cone. I teach ESL students, always make them think of ice cream cone, then immediately they get it. Okay, so that's your cone shape. And do we have any other shapes? Ah, we do. The sphere. Okay, the sphere is, think of a soccer ball or a football. Okay, again, make sure that your ellipses are correct. I think my page is not straight. So again, I'm going to take my F pencil or your B pencil. Okay, this is why we had to practice circles. If you can remember, now you know why. So this is a good way to practice for round shapes. So let's draw that in. And this is your final shape. So today's lesson is actually quite long. Sorry about that, guys. So here, I should have done smaller shapes, but okay. Next time. I'll do this one here. There we go. Drawing a circle can be quite tricky. Takes lots of practice. Even for me, with a lot of experience, I still. Okay. Okay. Now I'm going to erase this. So here we go. Once you feel that you're ready. So at the moment it looks like a circle. That's because we haven't done any shading on it. And to make it look like a sphere, you kind of have to practice that. Now I'm going to let the light come from the top this time. You can let the light go from this side to this side. So this is a different way. I think perhaps I should do an entire exercise just on that. Okay, so now the light's coming from the top. So pretend it's a lamp. Okay, and then I'm going to draw my horizon line. There we go. Okay, so now before anything, you want to check that your circle is correct. Doesn't have like a egghead or a bumpy head or whatever. I'm not really going to do that. So let's start with 3B. So if the light's coming from the top, this side is going to be dark, medium, and then light, your highlight. If it's this way, it's going to look like a moon. It's going to be like dark here, right there. The light's coming from the bottom, it's going to be dark here. Anyway, so it's from the top, shining on the top. Think of a sun. Again, so I want to show the form. Think of, a form like that. Make it round. Do short strokes. There's a tendency to do long lines like that. You can, but I really want to show the shape or the roundness of my ball. Think of it as holding it like that in your hand. So this is a very flat shape. Might be the easiest to draw, but shading, very different. Okay, so I'm going to go, again, don't always start too dark. You really want to start quite light. Again, as I mentioned, you can kind of go over that. Okay. Make sure that your shading doesn't look like hair. So here you want to kind of do this. Again. So this part's going to be like medium. Okay, and then I'm not even going to touch this part. Okay, I really want to sharpen my pencils. Okay, make sure that you have a sharpener on hand. Okay, now, so this part's going to be quite light. And up the top here, you want to kind of do that like that, like so. Okay, so here, okay, the light, because the light falls here, I'm going to go back a bit. Okay, so there, this is my most dark point. The light's coming from the top, there's the arrow there. Okay, and again, these are very basic shapes and very boring, but it kind of builds the foundation of drawing. And pretty much anyone who has studied art will tell you at some point they had to do this, either as an exercise all in one for homework or an actual class sitting. So it really depends. Some students actually copy from a photocopy. I've seen that, not the actual object, and then they just copy the shading without understanding or physically seeing why. I realize that's a contradiction. You'd be doing the same in this video. So anyway, so you kind of want to do this. And there are many shapes that you can kind of practice drawing. And these are the basic ones I'd start off with first before you do any other kind of shapes, like a vase or a bowl, anything like that. You really want to start off with these. Okay, watch your pencil stroke when you do this. Keep it short, because if you make it look longer, it looks like hair. Unless there is actual fur on this, you don't want that to happen. Okay, so there we go. Keep it short, short. So there you go. I realize the light's burning out a bit. Okay. Again, keep it one direction. Yeah. Control of your pencil is very important as well. Okay, I'm not going to go too dark here. So again, this is what I mean by, if you can look at my hand there, a little bit of, oh, you can't see it, grayness. So you can get a piece of paper, grab one next to you, take any piece of paper you want, and then just kind of put it under like that. If you get a lot of smudging, or if you don't want that on your hand, okay, but smudging is going to happen. All fun and part of the art class. Okay, now you want to clean up your negative space. This is your positive space, and you want to start off with, okay, want that in. Again, because this is a round ball, it's not going to have shading like that. Totally different. It's going to have shading mimicking its shape. The light's coming from there. So what you want to do is you want to start off with directional shading, like that. That's your most darkest point. And you want to find out here. Go like that. Keep it short. Notice. Oh gosh, this looks a bit like colouring in. Sorry guys. Kind of do this with it. very basic shading. Not the most spectacular. I'm using a 4B here. You can, of course, use different gradient pencils. Okay, there we go, done. You might want to go a little bit under there. Now that's a sphere. So this is the highlight part here. So kind of want to go a little bit over there. And there you go. Might want to do, hang on. Okay. So that's a sphere or a ball. Okay. Or a marble. So sphere. There we go. Sphere. Hemisphere. Atmosphere. And I just realized my circle's not perfect. Okay. There we go. So sphere. That's a sphere drawing. That is a cone. That is a pyramid, cube, and cylinder. And just over an hour for this lesson. Okay, so in this lesson I did not teach you any shading techniques. Perhaps I should explore that. There is one shape that I did not explore, and that's, I didn't avoid the ovoid egg shape. There's a reason for that, because I want to show you in a separate lesson where I can discuss my setup and lighting. So again, here we go, cylinder, cube, pyramid, cone, sphere. You can of course do this with all on one page. I just showed it to you on separate pages. And that's it.